All right, good evening, everybody.
And welcome to a spirited endeavor. I'm Russ.
I'm Mark, and today's Halloween. So we're doing a special episode tonight. We're really excited about this. Russ's wife, my sister, is keeping the ghouls and goblins at bay, so we can give this episode tonight. And we're going to be visiting one of our favorites.
Oh yeah.
Now we've talked about Bruichladdich a lot, and there's a reason for it, and because it is just that darn good. So tonight we're going to do two special ones. So this is a Bruichladdich. This is Islay Barley 2010. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little. The shadows are extra dark tonight. And here's the bottle. And then we're also doing the 10-year Port Charlotte, and this one's a heavily peated whiskey, and this one's going to be a lot of fun. The bottle on this is absolutely gorgeous. Raised lettering on the back. I think when we kill this bottle, we're going to turn it into a lamp or something, because it is just that spectacular.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So Bruichladdich is our favorite. We've mentioned them a few times on this. They're they're an artisanal distillery. Yeah. I would put it that way.
And they're not short on character by any stretch of the imagination. Everything they have brought so far has been unique and flavorful, and in a lot of cases something other than what we perhaps expected going into it, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, very true. They're also the one that really got us to the point where we're thinking that age doesn't necessarily matter. Especially when something has this much of a vision and this much of a flavor profile, and they're doing some really interesting things with this particular distillery.
And you make a good point. The fact that they have a lot of non-age statement stuff. They don't seem to get wrapped up in that whole age thing, and yet they're not skimping on the ABV. Most of the stuff we're getting from them is in the ballpark of about 50% ABV, and none of them's been tough to drink.
Yeah, and that's the truth. And when we tried our first Port Charlotte, that really, Islas have a characteristic, and the Bruichladdich is very different from that.
Yeah.
That's they want to have the caramel notes and the butterscotch, and they really bring some interesting flavors to the profile. It's not peated, it's not smoky, and if you were to maybe do a blind taste on it, you would swear that it was a Highland.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of those characteristics, but it's so much different than a Highland too.
I agree. The interesting thing is you taste it and you'd think maybe there was a little sherry influence with some of these based on some of the fruit notes perhaps you might get, but they don't. I mean, this is just them working with the grains that they have access to, and the way they distill it, apparently.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned the grains, because they source their barley on Islay. Mm-hmm. All of their barley comes from local farms, and if you head over to the Bruichladdich website, they'll show you where these farms are, where they're sourcing their grain, and they do these in particular batches and everything too. So when you get a like this one, the 2010. This was actually bottled in 2018, but the grain and was farmed in 2010, and where it was put in the casks.
Yeah, I love the transparency. Especially with the non-age statement stuff. A lot of distilleries don't tell you much about what goes into that bottle, just that it's a non-age statement. They may mention somewhere on the bottle that whether it's chill filtered or color added, that sort of thing. But these guys go to such an extent where they're telling you exactly where the grain came from, all about the casks that it was put in, to the point where it's almost overkill in some cases. I mean, the number of casks, my classic Lottie that I've got, I think was, God, I don't remember the number of casks, but it was some unreal number that they pulled from to make that one. But I love the transparency. I love what they're doing with the experimentation, and so far we haven't had a bad one.
Absolutely, and the thing I'm impressed about is, I had a idea of what it took to age whiskey, and I thought you distill it, you throw it in a cask, you let it sit and everything, but that's not true at all.
No.
Yeah, they they're very careful about what they do and where they how they age them and the casks they use and it's really an art and a science for them.
And it's funny you bring that up because one of the things that they take great pride in is the fact that the systems that they use for producing this are not computerized. This is all hand controlled, basically handmade, where a lot of the large distilleries have gone to more automated systems to get that consistency.
Mm-hmm.
This is still all done by hand. But when you look at how they track the barley sources, the casks and stuff like that, clearly they've got a hell of a method for organizing that involves computer systems, but the production itself is still old school. Really
Right.
cool.
It is really cool, and what's interesting about most of their whiskeys is that they do them in batches. They do runs of these things, and then once that's done, it's done.
It.
Yeah, yeah, and so they're always coming up with something new. They've got a great past, and luckily we were able to find some of these. There's still some out there, and it's like a little treasure hunt, and, and that's been kind of fun. But you can always find something interesting from the past, but you're always going to find something interesting coming up.
Yep.
So if you miss out, no worries. You're about to find something else new that's going to probably blow your socks off.
Agreed. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, here
I'm dying to try
we need to
this.
get into this.
I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
curious about it. So we've had their classic Lottie, which is, I would guess, similar to this one, that is not peated. But I'm curious what this one brings to the table. I'm expecting something a little different.
Yeah, likewise. Now, in full disclosure, we primed the pump with the classic Lottie just to give ourselves a baseline coming into these, especially coming into this one.
Yeah, exactly. Because I would think that would be a pretty close comparison, the two of them.
Yeah. Now this is non-chill filtered, no
Yeah.
color added. Let me
And
give you
that's
some.
their entire product line, too.
Oh.
They're very proud of the fact they don't screw with it at all.
Okay, so let me give you a couple specs on this one. So this is the 5th release of the ongoing Islay Barley Exploration Series. It's a multi-farm single vintage. So they've collected barley from multiple farms and they've created one distinct vintage with it. It's unpeated. It has Optic and Oxbridge barley varieties. It's 50% alcohol by volume, and for maximum mouthfeel, they say, which I thought was interesting. First fill bourbon casks, matured entirely on Islay, and it's bottled at the distillery using Islay spring water.
Now, if you look at how that clings, because I switched mine around and let it sit there while you were doing the technical aspect there, and it's still on that glass.
Yeah, yeah. The spooky shadows of spookiness probably are not giving you a very good view
Yeah.
on that, but trust us, there's a lot of cling to
glass
this.
cling, yeah.
Yeah, and I really expect that this is really going to cling to your palate. It's going to have a long, lingering finish,
I would think.
and that should be a lot of fun. Okay, I did not take any. I did not get any tasting notes on this one. I wanted to kind of come into this one cold and see what we could pull out of it.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Similar on the nose to the classic Lottie, I think.
Very, very similar. You could tell that it's in the same family.
Yeah, there is a slightly different note to it that I'm trying to figure out.
I think it's a little brinier.
And I mean, you get some vapors on it, but nothing too intense.
Yeah, it's got a very nice floral nose to it.
I agree.
Yeah, there's a lot of floral, maybe a little citrus in that. I'm picking up a little orange.
Yeah, orange zest.
Like
I agree.
orange zest.
Floral with orange zest.
Floral with orange zest.
Interesting.
Spicy.
It is spicier than what we've encountered before from them. It's a little drier.
Vapors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting the alcohol vapors on that one. Wow, that's got a very, very satisfying mouthfeel to it.
And I like that aftertaste.
Yeah, that aftertaste is amazing.
Lingers.
All right. So right up front, I got the spicy, peppery notes on this. A little bit of citrus in there. I'm trying to think on the kind of the middle mouthfeel. I might need an additional sip on that, but the palate on that is very long and lingering.
It really
is.
is.
Yeah.
It is interesting that the oak and the spiciness is up front, where most of the other ones we've had are kind of on the back end.
Right.
This one brings it to the front, but I don't find it unpleasant. I mean, it's there and it's pronounced, but it's not overwhelming. There's enough going on in this glass to where that's not the only thing you're getting.
Apple. I got apple. Serious, like Granny Smith tart apple.
Yeah, I'm getting it on the exhale through the sinuses.
Yeah,
that sticks around.
Yeah, lick the inside of your lips, and that's where you're going to pick it up.
Yeah, you are absolutely right.
That is quite good.
Yeah, I like that.
Now the only thing I taste in this is apple.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Get more of it on the nose too.
Very vapory. Yeah.
I like that. Man, I like that.
I like that a lot.
I think the classic Lottie's a little, I wouldn't say darker, but this just comes at me as being very bright, very energetic and youthful, and just kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of enchanting. It's you got a little spiciness. It does like a little dance, in your mouth and your palate.
But maybe it's that apple and the floral nature that make me think of like springtime, summertime.
Yeah.
There are some whiskeys where you taste it and it's like, okay, this is perfect for wintertime by a fire. This one's perfect springtime, kind of summertime reminder.
Yeah, some of those sherry casks and everything with the dark fruit.
Right.
Those are the ones you want to drink at like Christmas.
Yep, agree.
And this one I want to drink on a bright spring day, like a
that's what it makes you think of.
Exactly, like a May Day kind of thing.
So interesting that the first sip for me was fairly drying, which is often the case with really strong oak influence. I'm not getting that so much now, but there was a sensation in the mouthfeel, especially on the tongue, that reminded me of a lot of those really heavily casked oaky, where it kind of dries the tongue a little bit. I'm not really getting that so much anymore. It doesn't have the same feel as a lot of the oily Islas that we've had before, like a Lafroig or a Lagavulin for that matter. But again, I hate to be a broken record, but they really did a hell of a job on this.
Well, I haven't found a Bruichladdich that I haven't liked, and I'm curious to see what a drop of water does for this puppy. I have a feeling it's just gonna make it spicy, or maybe it'll.
I might do 5 if you don't mind. Just to see.
Okay. All right. It doesn't change the nose appreciably.
I think the oils on this are strong enough.
Yeah.
So for mine, it tamped down the alcohol vapors. They're pretty much gone entirely.
Yeah, I don't get the alcohol vapors now.
Yeah.
But the nose still smells like the first sniff on that. And move the spiciness to the back.
Oh man. I don't know if it's the additional drops that I got, but that apple is just in your face.
Oh my god, yeah it is. You know what it is? It's a green apple Jolly Rancher.
I agree. Yeah.
It is a green apple Jolly Rancher.
But yeah, you're right. The spice really hits real strong on the back end now. Instead of being up towards the front of the palate and early on, now it's pushed to the back and the apple's kind of taking that front. Wow.
that is something amazing.
I agree. I prefer the nose neat. I kind of like what the water did to it as far as the palate's concerned. I mean, I like it both ways, to be honest with you, but it's nice to know that it holds up to water. I mean, think about it. You put an ice cube in this thing, your taste is going to be different as you go through it, but there's still plenty of flavor.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
I think we nailed it with the candy there, the Jolly Rancher candy.
Yeah, man, I like that. They do a good job.
All right.
So I'm impressed. You know, I was a little concerned it was going to be a spin on what we've already tried, the Laddie, or the classic Laddie, and it is its own thing, no doubt about it.
It really is. You know, all it does is makes me excited for the next Bruichladdich.
Agreed.
You know, we started with the Bruichladdich. You know, that was our entry point, as it probably is most folks coming into Bruichladdich.
Yep.
You know, your mileage may vary, but you know, all it's done is led me further into their lines. Whether it's the Port Charlotte, whether it's the Bruichladdich, whether it's the Octomore.
Yep.
You know, they're just doing amazing things in those bottles.
Well, if you're somebody who likes to drink your typical bar Highland Scotch, this is going to be different for you.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's non-chill filtered is going to impart a lot more flavor than you're probably used to seeing, but they're not going to be flavors that are uncomfortable for you if you've had your typical Highlands. So it's not going to stray too far. Just expect that the flavors that you enjoy are going to be a bit stronger with this one, and the ABV is going to be a little bit stronger too.
Yeah, it's true. The ABV does give a little bit of a punch. So I'm very susceptible to the vapors. I mean, not that I find that unpleasant, but it does give me a little hiccup in the back of my throat, and I've actually come to enjoy that a little bit. Just that moment where you got to catch your breath a little bit, and then I could usually, make out a flavor, and when that happens, with the air change.
Well, those are important. I mean, the vapor that it provides is very important because it's the vapors in the glass that are giving you the aroma that you're looking for, and it's the vapors when you swallow it that go up into your sinuses and provide kind of that aftertaste. So that's a really important aspect of it. For me, I don't get that burn like I did initially. Mm-hmm. I've acclimated it, and everybody's a little bit different, but again, when those vapors go up into the sinuses, that for me is where it really gets interesting because it's so different from one to the next.
Well, that's a fun one. I'm going to visit that one a lot off camera.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That's like I said, I don't know that it's necessarily lighter, but it's brighter than the classic Laddie.
Yeah. I'm going to cleanse my palate a little bit before we get into the next one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know that we have to worry about that with as much as this thing's peated. I think it's going to pretty much dominate.
Yeah, I think it's going to body suplex our palates, and
I'm expecting that anyhow.
Expect the Hulk Hogan leg drop.
I'm hoping for something nice and earthy and just yum.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's get into it.
I'll let you do the honors, sir.
My pleasure.
That's.
I think there was a spirit in there that was just released.
Yes.
A little sinister.
So one thing you're going to find with these is they're probably lighter than what you're expecting. And that's, again, no color added. You've got to bear in mind, a lot of whiskeys out there, especially your main brands that you find in a bar or something like that, they're adding caramel coloring. And depending upon when in the process they add that coloring, it may or may not impart flavors. So these guys don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a very honey amber color, very light. This is also a very
similar in color.
Yeah. So again, let me give you some specs on this one. Okay, so this is a 10-year-old. All right, so rich and smoky whiskey made by independently minded folks at Bruichladdich. That's their tagline for it. Its age is 10 year. It's 50% alcohol by volume, so very similar to the other. Similar to almost their entire line.
Yeah.
Introduced as the flagship Port Charlotte expression produced in Bruichladdich in 2018, this 10-year-old single malt from the Isle of Islay is lip-smackingly smoky number indeed. It's peated to 40 parts per million and drawn from a combination of first fill American whiskey casks and second fill American whiskey casks and second fill French wine casks.
Ooh. Haha, that last part has me curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got the flavor palette on this, but I don't think I'm going to talk about it until after we've tried it.
I agree. Yeah.
I want to see if we're picking up the same notes.
So again, the oils are very strong on this. Just starting to run down the glass now, which again is to be expected.
Oh, that does have that peaty earthiness. You come to
no vapor.
No. Yeah,
no alcohol on the nose. So it's interesting. We found in general that heavily peated whiskeys tend to mask the alcohol a bit better than those that aren't. You get a Highland that's not peated and it's at 50% ABV and you feel every bit of that 50%. Whereas with the Islas that tend to be heavily peated, they're not quite as tough to get past at a high ABV.
Man, that is that's man. I want an air freshener like that.
But again, not dark, not domineering. It's pleasant.
Yeah. Again, yeah. It's light and airy, and it has an earthiness to it, but like one that you'd find like on a breeze somewhere, not not like you're in a mine.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, that's friggin' amazing. Wow.
I can't describe how peaty that is.
But it's so good.
It is. Oh my word. That is just amazing. That's
unlike anything else we've had heat-wise, in my opinion.
We've had some strong peated whiskeys before, but I don't think I've ever had one that was this tasty.
I agree.
That the peat was so welcome and so part of the character of it that it,
friggin' outstanding.
I need a moment to kind of unpack this one a little bit. That is amazing. The peat was very, very overwhelming on this first initial taste. I got the smoke in that. I got the peat, and I'm not really picking up the background flavors just yet. I think subsequent sips will kind of get me there.
I agree, and that's often the case with peat, smoke, and so on and so forth. Is once your taste buds acclimate to that, or your senses acclimate to that flavor, okay, then that dulls that and you start getting the other stuff. What I'm missing, there's none of that Isla stuff that you generally get. I'm not getting the iodine or anything of that nature. I'm just getting a really nice peat. I don't even get the barbecue with this one.
No, it's true. It's very earthy. You know what I am getting in this, though? I'm getting that green apple again.
I haven't gotten that yet.
It's
yeah,
on the very back end, on the finish.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of goes from the peat, smoky, apple.
Yeah. Man, I like this.
Oh wow. A little spicy.
Yeah, again, I'm getting that drying nature on the tongue.
A little bit. But it's gone in a flash.
You're absolutely right. It's funny now. So second sip, the peat's kind of moved to the back a little bit, and you're right. That apple came right up to the front.
Yeah, it's distinctively apple.
Yeah, it's slightly different than the first one, but it's still there. It's still apple.
Yeah, it was like an apple, like on the verge of turning.
Yeah.
Where it's got a little bit of that, sweetness, that little decay sweetness.
And again, I get that little bit of citric acid feel on the side of my tongue too.
Yes.
Wow.
So it does have a couple. I'm getting a little orange zest in there now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of in the, kind of in the mouth, kind of in the middle swallow. I'm starting to pick up that orange zest in there.
Yeah. Man, I like that.
But dark and smoky and, but not, yeah, but not like, wow, I can't even describe.
Well, the way I look at it is, you get Talisker or you get Lagavulin, both of which are island distilleries, Lagavulin being from the same island as this one. And those make you think of storm-swept coastline and that sort of thing, and that kind of dark, crappy weather, just really rough. This, on the other hand, I don't get any of that. This to me comes across as a much brighter, just kind of a pleasant, happy...
Yeah, like you just tilled the field.
Right, exactly.
You get it, and you get that earthy smell. And, yeah.
It's, they're so tied to farming as far as they're real particular about where they're sourcing their barley, where it's coming from, when they got it, so on and so forth. They're really good about that. And when you drink this, you kind of oddly pick up on that. It reminds me a lot of being out in a field somewhere and having that earthy note to it, while still having some of those kind of floral notes floating across.
Yeah, like you're digging in the dirt a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the dark, heavy oceanside island.
Yeah, it's not like a garden in a glass. It's like gardening in a glass.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that I wish for me, and this is probably my own palate, is I had that peat real strong and up front on the first sip, and then after that it just kind of kept stepping back a little bit more and the other stuff came forward, which makes it interesting, but I kind of miss that. That first sip was just, that peat was stunning.
It was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was just,
your taste buds just say, screw it.
Yeah,
done.
screw it. I'm just going to enjoy this. Yeah. And now I'm starting to get the complexities that are underneath it.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think I kind of missed that initial shock of it.
I wish I had a little bit more of that in as I get into my third or fourth sip.
Exactly.
But it's interesting that what we're picking up on is it tends to be a trend, of course, across their line.
Right.
Is some of the notes that we're getting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was the Munster Mobile that went by the way.
Apparently.
And apparently it's really slow because I can still hear it going by. Yeah, man. That's
I could spend an evening just with this one, just trying to figure it out. And again, it was a peat bomb at first, and then everything that's underneath it.
But it was a really good peat.
It was a good peat. That may be my favorite peat.
And I'm kind of evaluating that right now because that may unseat my current top of the list.
Was your with the Lagavulin 16?
I think it might.
I think it does. I think
the Lagavulin brings something different to the table. Again, that's that kind of oceanside, dark, stormy. This is none of those things. But they're both peated, very heavily peated for that matter, but it's a very different peat. I really thoroughly enjoyed this one.
And we were talking a little bit about this earlier. We came into this with favorites. You came in with the Lagavulin as your top. I came in with the Highland Park as my top. Those have become our benchmarks.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think Bruichladdich has become my favorite distillery.
Oh, hands down. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, and I mean, even as our palates have evolved and more importantly, our expectations have changed, this one still manages to meet those expectations and surprise us on occasion with something unique yet flavorful. We were talking about our ranking and the way we tend to look at whiskeys, and we're more likely to give a whiskey a low score if it underwhelms us, as opposed to one that overwhelms us. But that's me personally. I want something that has flavor. I want something that brings an experience to each strand.
Yeah, I want something that meets or exceeds my expectations. And we've tried a few that I expected great things from them, and they kind of fell short. I have yet to find a Bruichladdich that even falls that even that doesn't completely give me something new or give me something interesting to unpack. Even their entry level, the Bruichladdich, the Classic Lottie,
Yeah.
which we warmed up with tonight.
And again, I have that same bottle at the house. So I tried it here, had to go buy a bottle for myself because it is that kind of good.
Yeah, it's a great one to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you're looking for your typical Highland, it's not going to be that. The flavors aren't out of range, but the strength of those flavors is going to be a bit surprising.
The
ABV maybe.
I'm a little afraid to see what happens when I drop the water in that.
Oh, I was too busy enjoying it. Neat.
All right, let's do a quick
that.
little pour and see what some water does to this.
Yeah, that's just freaking amazing. Oh man.
How many are you looking for?
Do 5 on this one too. Just out of curiosity.
All right, I'm gonna do the same.
I think there's plenty here to hold up to 5 drops.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna take a lot to
tamp this one down.
Because the oils on that are so prevalent.
Yeah.
I mean, it has such great palate clean now.
So again, not really any alcohol vapor on the nose. I'm still getting a lot of what I got the first time around. So the nose is about the same.
That is a completely different animal now.
The apple's no longer front on the palate.
No, I'm getting I'm getting on the back end. I'm getting that barbecue.
Yep.
That smokiness.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, you were looking for the peat. There it is.
Yep, it's back.
It's back, and it's on the back end.
That's what got brought forward. So it pushed the fruit notes to the rear and brought the smoke or the peats forward again.
Yeah, I'm not getting that green apple anymore.
And I guess that's the big difference is this is peaty. It's not overly smoky.
Right.
You get a Lafroig or something like that, and it's smoky and peaty. This one's just straight up peat.
Yeah, those are very barbecuey.
Yeah.
And this one, until I put the water in it, I didn't pick up on that.
Agreed.
Man, that is good.
So when you can add 5 drops of water from a dropper and change the flavor that much, that's like getting 2 bottles of whiskey in one. It really is, because they're completely different at that point.
Yeah, you start getting a little bored of that. You put a little bit of water in it, and you got something completely different.
And it didn't thin it. It didn't weaken any of the flavors. Nothing like that. It just changed it. There's a bit more spice in the back end, which, I mean, that's to be expected with, again, the idea is that the water separates the oil a little bit. So I do get the spice a little differently than I did before, but yeah, it really did. It brought that peat and that kind of smoky nature forward. Really like that.
Again, you can just spend an evening just playing with this one.
Oh, each sip, even neat, is going to be different. And again, this is one where you can put ice in it, and as that ice melts, the flavor on this is going to change slightly, and not because it's getting weak or diluted, but because the oils are shifting around, and now you're catching flavors that perhaps you didn't before. Really cool.
Yeah, imagine what a... Excuse me. Wow. All right, I'm still getting some vapors on that one. But imagine what a whiskey stone would do to this too. I mean, just to chill it down just a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we're outside and the glasses are fairly cool, not cold, but I mean, it's I think I prefer it a little on the cool side because You know, when you warm up a whiskey, those vapors rise a little bit faster, and you tend to lose that aroma a lot quicker. It's very intense, but then it's gone pretty quickly.
Right.
And the same thing on the palate, I think. The fact that we're drinking these a little, not cold, but a little on the cooler side, is helping us kind of get that experience a little bit longer.
Right. And we're also using the tulip glasses on this too.
Yeah, huge difference.
Yeah, because this is going to transfer the warmth of your hand into this. This really does concentrate the notes, the nose on this. These glasses are designed to do that. So I mean, normally, folks, and we drink, plenty of whiskey in these type of glasses, these tumblers. But when we're doing these tastings, we're going to use these.
Yeah.
Just because it does really concentrate the nose. It really does bring some flavor compounds. It really does make a difference.
Yeah, and that's, when we first came into this, I was, using a highball glass or a tumbler, I guess. And, that's what I always use. I always had Scotch on the rocks. Well, now I try whiskey neat, and I tried it in that, and okay, yeah, it's a different experience. But then, I heard about these, and everybody talks about, oh, it changes things so much, and you're thinking, yeah, whatever, but they look cool, so I'm going to pick some up. Holy crap. I mean, no joke, they really do. The shape of a glass makes a difference. And whether you get one with a stem on it or whatever, the main thing is to get one that's a tulip shape that constricts in towards the rim. And that's what holds those vapors in there, so you get that nose, that smell, because smell is a huge part of taste.
Absolutely.
Massive. That's the neighbor chasing the kids around with a chainsaw, by the way.
It's quite a wild night here at Casa de Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm.
And I found these amazing glasses too. And these are also tulip-shaped glasses, but they're inside of a tumbler. So it's not going to get the heat transfer.
Yeah.
So this is going to give you a pure nose to it, without with the alcohol vapors. It's going to reduce the alcohol vapors on it.
But give that a shot. Trying one neat in a tulip-shaped glass and see what you think. Compare it. Pour just a little dram on each type, a tumbler and a tulip-shaped glass, and see what you get. I think you'll be surprised.
All right, just for fun.
Oh.
Now that we've tried these, let's go back to the classic Lottie. And again, this is our warm-up today, and I didn't really expect to bring this out, but now I'm really, really curious about it. So let's just do a quick little...
Well, how about this? We've still got 3 glasses out here. Let's try just a tiny little sip of each and see how they stack up, if you will.
All right.
Because I'm more curious about how that stacks up against the classy than this one.
Okay. I think that is a amazing whiskey mooch move. All right. Which one?
All right.
Okay.
I'm curious. So let's see. This is the classic.
This is all right. So this is
got
the classic is in the. Yep.
And that's the 10. Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. So. Okay. So let's do the classic.
Yep.
Wow. Having drank these.
Oh,
that
nose
brings
is totally different.
My God, that's Oh wow,
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that's a candy of some sort.
Yeah.
That's a caramel. That's like one of those.
That's exactly those toffee candies. Or not toffee. God, I'm trying to. What the hell were those?
You know the candies that have like the white
Yep.
stuff in the middle of them?
Exactly. Yes. I don't know what the hell the name
like
of that
cream,
is.
Yeah, like a cream caramel.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's funny that we started with this priming the pump and then went to
butterscotch.
Yeah.
I've got butterscotch on that.
Wow. Yes, caramel creams is
Caramel creams.
Henry would say, "That's what the name is." I'm glad you said that. Thanks, Henry. Because I could not figure that one out for the life of me. I can picture the stupid things.
Yep. Oh my God, that just unlocked that. I'm glad we did that, because now I've got something completely new in this.
Well, and the interesting thing is we had the classic latte like 15 minutes before we started the episode. And then we started off with this one, and we're thinking, oh, they're unique, but a little bit different. And then when you have them side by side, it's like, holy crap, there's definitely more different than what we're remembering.
Yeah, now when I sniff this one now, I'm not really getting that caramel, that caramel note to it. I'm not getting any of that. I'm not actually picking up a lot of anything.
All right.
But this is butterscotch. It's the caramel cream. It's the that's dessert in a glass.
Henry's geeking out over the fact that you're double fisting scotch. We're living the dream. Oh God, that nose.
Oh my word.
That peaty nose.
Wait till you taste it. Because I'm getting all caramel now. It's all caramel.
Oh God, that's just insane.
This is like a caramel macchiato in a glass.
So, people ask, we bring out all these different whiskeys on a regular basis, and the big question is, how quickly do you go through them? And we always say we don't go through them very quickly. Mark's killed one bottle since we've started this whole thing, and I think I've done one bottle as well. I'd have to think about that, but yeah, I think I've just killed one bottle so far. But that's the nice thing about having this huge selection of whiskeys. You can do something like this and kind of compare, and you pick up on stuff that you wouldn't have otherwise. Wow, what a different experience it is when you have them all lined up like that.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It makes me like this one even more, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I want to try that one against the other port charlotte.
I agree. I think that would be very interesting.
I think it'll be interesting to taste the two side by side and see what flavors are unlocked.
Yep.
And that's and we've done this a little bit, but not like this.
No.
Where we've done a couple back and forth.
We never poured all three at the same time, and had the ability to nose all three at the same time. We've always done one after the other, and there's something to be said for this, because that right there surprised me the most, I think. This one being an outlier and a bit different than those two, all right, that I expected. It's peated where those aren't. But again, going into this, having had the latte, and then 15, 20 minutes later, trying the other one, wow.
That's a good point. I mean, try them against each other. I mean, you're gonna pick up.
Yeah, we're gonna pick up
amazing things
too. I mean, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, I'm not feeling this at all at this point. So, I mean, we haven't drank a lot of whiskey tonight, but these little sips, just can make a huge difference and make an impact.
Well, and that may help you with your palate too.
Yeah, for sure.
Being able to compare them back and forth. And I know that's been the case for us. For me, I really do enjoy pouring just tiny little pours, not even a finger, and just comparing different bottles to see, because my palate's different night to night, and seeing what I pick up on different nights. Man, these are good.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. All right, so next week we're going to do something a little different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing scotches, we've been doing a little bit of American whiskey. We did a Japanese, which was kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
But we've got a few from other places. So we're gonna break this up into a couple of different episodes. So I got a few right now from Australia and New Zealand, and we're gonna do kind of a down under night coming up. But then I've also got some from Scandinavia. And so from Sweden and from Finland. I'd like to see if I can find something from Norway, but we'll find what we can find.
I'm impressed you found what you did.
I know, really. So yeah, we're gonna try a couple single malts from different areas, and then kind of see what those type of grains and peats and everything bring to the table. Because even here in the U.S., there's plenty of single malts available, and we found the Stranahans, which is
Really
pretty
good.
amazing. The Broken Barrel, which is really some amazing things, and we want to kind of see what the various interpretations of the single malt.
Yeah, agreed. Well, there's so much variety, even in Scotland, that you almost have to wonder, okay, well, if this is the variety in one area, what are you going to get when you start going outside of that area? And like you said, the Japanese was just its own animal. And I'm curious to see if each country that we deal with has the same difference or the same unique characters, I guess would be the best way of putting it.
Because the barley's going to be different. If they use peat, it's going to be different. Their distilling methods might be similar, but they're going to bring the ingredients to the table are going to be unique to that area, and so I expect them to have some very unique and interesting flavor profiles.
Oh, absolutely. I hope so anyway. I'll be very disappointed if they don't.
Exactly. Okay, guys. Well, we've thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Yeah, it's been a great night.
And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Please drop us a line. Let us know what you're drinking. And, if you come upon something interesting, record a video, give us some tasting notes. We'll be sure to post them to the webpage. And we also have a YouTube channel now.
That's right. Spirit Endeavor at YouTube. And, if you've tried one of these, let us know your experience with them. Dying to hear what other people think of some of these.
Yep, and we certainly, subscribe to the philosophy that the best whiskey is the one that you're drinking the way you like to drink it, as our friends over at Whiskey Tribe like to say.
Exactly. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Again, it's been a really fun night.
We had a blast. All right, thanks a lot.
Take care, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.